I think I'm playing chess, I see a king, I'm at his neck. I'm 3 steps ahead of every move, now that's a check. Yes, they wanna know my secret, it's because I never slept. All my nightmares of me at 40, life's a wreck.
What is up, everybody? Fernando Petty here, UVO Group, UVO Real Estate Group, right here in the studio. What's up, Alan? How you doing, bro?
What up, man?
Joined today by my co-host, Alan Kantarovich.
What is up, everybody? Here we go again.
There we go. And today we have a special guest in the building.
We do.
One of our newest agents, Michele Willis.
Hey. Okay, audience.
You know what? It's funny because Alan and I, we used to do this all the time, and then we kind of slowed down on them, and we're like running out of stuff for you and I to do because a lot of the agents just weren't really down for it.
Yeah. A lot of them were afraid to get on there.
Yeah. And that's why I just mentioned, like, I'm so happy that you are cool with this because I love producing content. This is like what the fuck I love to do.
Yeah.
And you too.
Uh-huh.
But it's like, it's so boring. It was just me and Alan 24/7. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like we gotta have
what
some,
are we talking about?
We gotta have some culture in here and something else. So I'm happy that you're here. And dude, welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I'm happy to be here. No, I like being in front of the camera. I'm used to being in front of big crowds and stuff. I have a background of performing vocally. I'm a singer.
Oh, I had no idea.
I don't know if you guys know that.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna need some vocals from you for sure.
Okay.
The sound is not bad with these mics, so you probably sound really good in here.
Yeah, it's not bad.
But tell me a little about yourself because are you from Salt Lake originally?
I like to say I'm from Salt Lake because I've lived most of my life here. I was born in Palo Alto, California. And then before I even turned 1, my family moved to Tonga. So Tonga, for those who don't know, it's a Polynesian island in the South Pacific. So we lived there for 5 years. We were just going to go over there to vacation, for vacation. My dad fell in love with the place. He was Caucasian. Anyways, he fell in love with the place, and we ended up staying there for 5 years and then moving here afterwards. And then I've been here in Utah ever since.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How do you like it in Utah?
I love it.
It's nice,
it's underrated.
Yeah.
Utah is so underrated, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I didn't really appreciate it at first because all of my family, my cousins and everything were all in California. So we'd fly over there all of the time to hang out with them, and they were just like so cool. We wanted to be like them, so we wanted to live in California, and we always had fun over there. But as I've grown in Utah, I've just really learned to appreciate the place. Yeah. I mean, you've got scenery, you've got so many places that you can do outdoors things. Like the mountains are literally like 10, 15 to 30 minutes away. Yeah. Like you don't have to go very far to do outdoors, like really fun stuff. Lakes are everywhere. That's really fun. You could do that during the summer. And then during the winter times, you can go skiing, sledding, whatever you want to do. Yeah. Like there's a lot of stuff that you can do here in Utah. I
came to Utah when I was like 3-4 years old the first time. Went back to Vegas, California, Vegas, Utah. Just bounced all over from here in Vegas. And I didn't really like Utah at first because I felt like it was such a bubble. People, and especially compared to Vegas. Like,
back then, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, dude, it was wild. But then after being here and becoming an adult and becoming independent and being able to go and enjoy the things that Utah has to offer, like, dude, Utah's, I would say it's definitely one of the best places
I agree.
to be and live and raise a family.
Well, which is no surprise that people are coming here.
Yeah.
I think we appreciate it. And going back to what you said, spot on with me as well. Growing up, I didn't really appreciate it.
Right.
And I was always that guy going out to California every couple of years going, I'm going to live here one day. I'm going to live here,
Yeah.
Because I want to be with the cool kids and everything. Here was more very, closed.
Right.
And over there was just more different. It's a different vibe completely.
Yeah.
But as I got older, I really appreciated it a lot more. And even when I do go out of town, like I went to California maybe 2 months ago, I went to San Diego. And I'm like, damn, like I love Utah. It made me appreciate it after a couple of days. I'm like, dude, I can't wait to go back home. Yeah. I love Salt Lake that much.
Well, and I think another thing is that back then, a lot of people's priorities was to look cool, be cool, know all of the slang, know all the new music that's coming out. Like you had to dress nice. That's what made people back then. And so that's what, but I think like as people are growing older and it's 2022 now, everyone is starting to understand now that it's important to have something for yourself. Yeah. Like you need to grow your name too, not just your looks.
Yep.
You need to have something for yourself. And Utah has that. Like Utah has a great community. And I tell this to people all the time, especially people who are looking to move in to Utah. They want to know what the vibe is about and they want to like start something new for themselves. I'm like, Utah's a great place for that because it's so community based and it always has been.
Yeah.
And now too, like people who start businesses in Utah, like you just put a hashtag on your post on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, like Utah business, Utah local business and stuff like that. People follow pages like that because they want to support local businesses. Yeah. And that's what Utah's about. Like, and I think that's amazing. So if you're wanting to make something of yourself, Utah's an amazing place to do that. And not only that, but it has an amazing economy. I think the number one economy in the U.S.
Always.
Right?
Yeah.
And you know, the rate of unemployment is the lowest. Yeah. It's just an amazing. It's just tax laws are good too. So. Yeah, I'm all for Utah. Yeah,
I was waiting for the punch where she's like, if you're looking to buy or sell or move here to Utah, call me.
That's the point of this podcast. They know the deal. They know the deal.
I like it. That's cool. We'll give you a plug at the end.
but even when it comes down to the whole real estate, because we had a meeting this morning actually with Aaron, and just going over the stats, you know, across the country, what prices are projected to do and homes are projected to do, whether they're going to go up in value, down in value, etc. And Utah is one of those places where we should not be affected at all.
Right.
Like I feel like we have such a strong community, such a strong community here in Utah, and our economy is just so good that I feel like we'll be good. Whatever were to happens, whether rates go up or down, makes no difference. I think we'll be good here in Utah. So it's definitely a great place to invest or live or anything really.
Yeah. I mean, Silicon Slopes speaks for itself. So much development happening here. Like Tooele, like we never would have thought of going to Tooele. Like we're just like Tooele.
Where the hell's that?
Yeah, but now it's like such a huge place now. So many people are moving there, and there's so much more development happening in that area. And as you go down towards Provo too, like before I always thought like Provo, who goes to Provo? Just a lot of Mormons. You know what I mean? But now, like, it's a really popular place. Lehigh, Provo, and then even past that is starting to grow to Santa Quin. It's still kind of far for some people, but it's like that name is becoming more known. Yeah, Santa Quin.
Well, it's still it's affordable, because the thing is, a lot of people that are moving here from, let's say, California, for example, they're already used to driving typically an hour and a half. Like we have family that are like, it's normal. We drive an hour and a half to work each day. I'm like, man, that would suck.
Right.
So I feel like people that are moving here, they're okay with that. A lot of us that have been here a long time, we're like, oh, I don't want to live more than half an hour away from my work,
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And it's so, like, every city is so accessible here in Utah.
Everything, You
just hop on the freeway and then you just, like, drive 20 miles and you can get from Salt Lake City, like, 20 minutes. You get from Salt Lake City to, like, Lehigh. That's probably like more like 30 minutes.
Oh, no, it's 20 all day.
Yeah. And then 20 minutes north and you're past like Bountiful, Centerville, and all of it. Like you're in Farmington already. Lagoon is over there. Everything is so accessible. Yep. Everyone just buy real estate over here.
Yeah, exactly.
But hit me up though.
There we go. I was waiting for that one. Very nice. So I want to talk about you a little bit because we spoke, I would say about a year ago.
Close to.
About a year ago, huh?
Yeah, I'd say
about
that,
a year ago. And you were looking to... you're just exploring options, which is awesome. And I'm happy that you're here now. Like Alan and I both talked about it. Really happy and grateful that you're here.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you for considering UVO Group.
And thank you for considering me.
Yeah. But I mean, so speaking of you specifically, I mean, what got you into real estate? I mean, why did you want to do it? Because you've been an agent for a couple of years now. I mean, how do you?
Honestly, I've wanted to be a realtor since I first started renting my own place. And I was probably like 19, 20 at the time. So I rented my own place. And then as I got speaking with the landlord and everything, it started like clicking in my head. I'm like, I'm paying the landlord because they're the homeowners. I'm like, they're obviously making a profit off of this just because they own this home. So I started thinking like, okay, so how does this real estate thing work? How do I get into a position where I can own a home? And then rent it out myself. And there was a lot of like missing pieces there that, I didn't know. So I'm like, okay, well, obviously there's a lot that I need to learn. So I was like, I want to be a realtor. At the time I was like easily influenced. I was very young. I didn't know what I was doing. And, and so like, I would kind of like look to people around me for support, like giving them my ideas, like, hey, I'm like thinking about being a realtor. I think that sounds really cool. And then it would get shut down, and then I would kind of like shelf the idea. But, you know, I was married at the time. I got divorced like 4 years later. And then once I started learning that I can take care of myself, I can make decisions for myself, and I'm really good at taking care of myself. So I started trusting myself more, trusting my ideas more, trusting my decisions more. And so finally I was just like, dude, I'm going to be a realtor. And so I was selling insurance for a while. So I kind of got the hang of sales, commissions and things like that. And I was like, dude, if I can sell that, I can, you know, I think I got the basics. I can learn how to sell, you know, bigger things. And I was like, okay, what do I need to do that? Anyways, I finally bought the course at Stringham. And then, it was just, now I'm here, you know.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And now we're here.
now we're here.
Wow, so inspiring.
Can we
so
skip to the good part?
inspiring. So motivational. Oh my gosh. No, that's pretty cool, because you did share a little bit about your story back then, and the position that you were put in after you got divorced. And I know a little bit more about what you just shared with everybody here. You told me that when you talk about trusting yourself in your decision making, and when you told us about the decision or the position you were in, you talked about doing whatever it took, to the point where you were just riding your bicycle to every.
Oh my gosh, you remember that
story?
story?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
That's Okay. So I'll talk about that story a little bit. So when I got divorced, we were renting, you know, this townhome, and we had one car, and my ex-husband, he took the car, and I was left with a bunch of bills, and I was left with, I only had one job because I was mostly a stay-at-home mom at the time. So I have 2 kids. Anyways, I was working part-time at Vasa. So like very little. It was almost minimum wage. So I worked with my landlord and everything. I told her, I'm like, I can't afford rent, like, you know, all up front, but I can save up and, like, you know, I can pay you in pieces throughout. And I was making probably like $300 something every 2 weeks. Wow. Yeah, it was almost nothing. Luckily, I had like a really good friend who would take me to school for dental assisting. Anyways, I realized that I needed to make money. I'm like, I need to pay these bills, damn it, and I need a car, obviously, because I didn't have one. I didn't have any money, so I was like, okay, I need a really good job that's gonna, you know, get me something, but I don't want a minimum wage job. So I need to be certified in something. The first thing I thought was dental assisting. There's a dental office that was right down the street from my house. And they did like biological dental stuff, really cool stuff. I'll tell you all about it. I can go on and on for days about the things that I've learned. They're so amazing. Anyways, and I knew that about that dental school. So I already envisioned in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm going to work there. They didn't even know who I was. Yeah. I'm like, I'm going to work at that place. And so I told my landlord that, and I was like, okay, I found a school, which I did some research. I did work with the state, and I talked to like DWS, and I feel like that's what they're for. Like, you know, when you're in a tough spot and you need to get out, you know, you can use them as a stepping stone. So I went, resource, like great resource. I went and talked to them, and I said, hey, I want to, you know, go to school. I want to get this certification so I can start working here. And they were like, okay. And so which school do you want to go to? I started researching schools. I found a school that was like, you know, the fastest, like quick pay school. It was like a 5-week course. And normally I think it takes like a few months to get the thing. Anyways, I took the course. My friend, bless her heart, took me to school every day. She gave me a ride. So I did that for 5 weeks. And throughout all of this, I'm talking to my landlord, working everything out, still going to my job, which was like 2 blocks away. So sometimes I would walk there. And then, anyways, finally I got my certification. I went and interviewed at the job, and I did a 2-week, what's it called when you
Apprentice?
Work for free, or your internship. Yeah. So I did that for 2 weeks, and then they gave me the job. And so, like I said, they didn't know who I was, but I got the freaking job.
There you go.
Yeah. So I envisioned it. I saw it. I did the steps that I needed to do to get there. I got there. I started making the paychecks. And so I was paying my landlord. I saved up a little bit. my first paycheck that I got from over there, though, I went to Walmart and I bought a little beach cruiser bike. It was like $80. And then I got a little, what's it called? Not a stroller,
It's
a
like,
wagon.
Yeah, to get your groceries and everything.
Yeah, no, like a thing, like a trailer.
Yeah, trailer,
Yeah, so I hooked that up to my bike, and in the morning when I would get ready for work, I'd get my kids ready for school, I'd pop them in the little trailer thing, and then I'd ride them over to school. They loved it. I was a little embarrassed, but they freaking loved it. And all the other kids at school, when I was dropping them off, they would like look at their parents like, why can't we ride a bike? So they loved it. So I would drop them off to school, and then from there I'd ride my bike to work, which was down the street. And then I did that for a little while I saved up. Finally got my first car. It was like a crappy little car, but I got a freaking car.
Go. That's good.
Yeah. And so so it's just been working and envisioning and everything ever since then. So
that's badass. I like that story. Don't you like that's good?
I love it.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, a lot of people in situations like that, we know quite a few of them actually. They they go down a different path in life to pay their bills because they don't believe in themselves enough to I guess support themselves the right way.
Yeah.
So yeah, kudos to you. And I feel like we do that on the team. Alan and I kind of have a soft spot for single mothers. You know what I mean? I was my mom, single mom growing up with her. Alan's dad's always working 24/7. He's probably
finally retired now, though.
kind of a single mom situation.
I'd probably see him on the weekend.
No, I love hearing stories like that, right? And so that's why I wanted you to share that. Because you kind of glazed over it, and I think it's important for people to hear that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially women who are in that position where their back's against the wall, and they don't know that sometimes they just go get a fucking bicycle from Walmart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And not have to rely on anybody. But that's awesome. So, dude, good for you. For pulling yourself out of that situation.
Well, on top of that, here I want to touch up on that a little bit. I love the fact that you said that you set a target, you set what your goal was, and then you worked towards it. I feel like too many people are just kind of coasting through life, hoping and praying stuff is going to work out, but you have to be able to envision it
and see the light at the end of the tunnel.
I'm all about manifesting. I've had a lot of crazy stuff happen when it comes down to manifesting, and I'm like, whoa, I talked about this years ago, and here it is, it came to fruition. So I'm a firm believer of you got to set your goal, whatever that may be, whether it's the amount of money, whether it's the amount of people you want to help, amount of deals you want to close, whatever that might be. Set that goal and have it be a constant reminder for you to hold yourself accountable every single day until you achieve that goal. Because otherwise, if you don't do that, you're just kind of like winging it, hoping and praying it'll work out.
Yeah.
You and I both know that won't.
Right. Well, you got to, because it can be hard. Like that situation, obviously, it was really hard for me. But every day I had to remind myself, like, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah. I am going to get there. And so I just have to do this stuff now until, I get there. And then it's, whatever after that. Yeah. Like the sky's the limit after that. So that's what kept me going every day, was just remembering that.
Pain is temporary. We all know that, especially mental as well. Because I remember, I'll give you a little example of when I was remodeling my home last year. And I remember month after month after month after month, and it began taking a big toll on me mentally, where I remember talking to my dad, I think it was about a month or two before we were done. And I'm like, damn, like, is this ever going to end? Is it ever going to end? And then I began seeing it all just kind of come together. And I'm like, I can finally see the light at the end of the tunnel. Right. But the thing is, you got to stick with it, because I feel like too many people, they quit right when something big is about to happen, whether you're completing a remodel, whether you've been calling leads for a whole month and you haven't converted anything. And next thing you know, you quit. But if you would have kept going that next day or two, you would have got that next appointment.
We talked about that. What did I text you last night?
What?
I said, and we won't mention it, but some of the agents that we spoke to in the past, actually yesterday, we talked to somebody yesterday, where you could tell that they were not frustrated, but just kind of, they didn't know what to expect after only calling leads for a few days or whatever. And
they lost motivation.
Yeah, you can see it go away quickly. And I think that people need to realize that, like, don't quit before you strike gold. You know what I mean? Like, people do that too. They give it too quickly. Well,
you got to be consistent with the two. And that was the conversation I had as well. It's like, oh yeah, I'll call them today, and then I'll call them in a couple days after, and then a couple days after. The thing is, you got to stay consistent when it comes down to it. I'm talking about if you're in the office Monday through Friday, make it a habit. Monday through Friday, block out a certain amount of time. I'm prospecting that during that time. You know, no matter what, no compromising.
Right.
Because the reality is, if you call today, it's like going to the gym.
Right.
We both know. If you don't go every day, you're not going to do it.
Right.
You go one day you don't. One day you do, you're half-assing it. You're only kidding yourself at the end of the day.
And then you're not going to hit your goals.
You're not.
And the thing about Century 21 and UVO Group too is you have so many examples of what it looks like at the end of that tunnel.
Yeah.
Like so many people here are making, over $500,000, 200,000 over that. Like that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But everyone's telling you the blueprint, the formula. Every single day. I mean, you got those trainings every single day. They just tell you the same thing every single day. As long as you follow this formula, you're going to be where I am.
Yeah. You're
going to be right here. And you're here already. Just get started and just keep doing it. And I promise you, you'll get to where I am right now. And I love that. Like, and I trust that too. Cause I see it. Like, it's not just one person who's like trying to sell a bunch of people something.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people. It's like almost every single person who's here, unless you're like brand new and you're learning or whatever. Almost every single person is highly successful and everyone's doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And, in their own ways, they tweak it to their own ways and towards their like personality or whatever. But everyone's doing that same thing. And a lot of it just comes down to consistency and doing that same thing every single day.
Yep. Every day.
Yep.
What's that? Proximity is power.
Proximity's power. Yeah.
Yes.
You are who you hang out with.
Yeah, they preach that a lot here at the brokerage, and it's so true.
I love the fact that they have so many top producing agents where you're able to look at them as a shiny object and go, hey, I want to be like him or I want to be like her, which is absolutely amazing.
Yeah. Well, and then you see that they're here. They come here.
Yeah, they're here every day.
Yeah, they're here every day. And so you know that you're in a good spot.
Yeah.
You know that you're where you need to be. Because if that person who's already making like hella money is still coming to the same spot every day, like you're in the right place and you should be utilizing the same resources that person is utilizing. Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty cool.
We had homeboy poke his head in. we gotta get the AC fixed so we can get the door closed. Anyways, no, you're right, and that's why we came back. Really, literally, why UVO Group came back to C21 is because we saw that we went elsewhere to other places, and I don't want to make this an ad about C21, but
but why not?
But do you see what I'm saying? We saw it. You know what I mean? There's a lot of brokerages that have a lot of smoke and mirrors. You know what I mean? And then you get there, and then you see the culture, and you're there over time, and you start to really get to see the amount of support that they offer and that you're paying for, essentially.
Yeah.
And it just makes a whole lot more sense to be at a company like this where everybody here is working towards the same goal. And you're right, and these guys don't have to share their stories of success, and they don't have to give you their formula, but they do. And it's pretty cool because they're not getting paid for it.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, when they do those classes in the morning, it's like these guys aren't getting paid for that.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so it's good to be in a place where
they truly want to help.
Yeah.
They truly want to. That's the beauty I love about it is people are genuinely wanting you to succeed. That's the reality of it. It's like we all want to succeed and we all want to push each other instead of it's me against you, you against me.
Yeah.
It's a whole different vibe. You know?
And this could totally sound like a sales pitch for Century 21 or for anyone's brokerage who's talking about it like, this heavily. But if you think about it, like the kind of person who's going to appreciate something like that is the kind of person who sits down and takes inventory of what they want in their life, like what they want their environment to be, what kind of people you want in your life. And you have to think about that. Like, and I'm not saying like, hey, you guys, if you're an agent or, if you're not an agent, go get your license and join Century 21. I'm saying like, if you care about yourself, if you care about your career, and if you want to go far, like take inventory of where you are, where you spend most of your time, who you spend most of your time with, and think to yourself, like, how is that, how are those people? How is that environment? How is it helping you? You got to think about that. You really got to think about it. And once you do, you start checking those boxes or not checking those boxes, you'll come to realize whether you're in the right place or not. So.
Right? I'm like, whoa.
little breakaway. I like that. No, that's good. So you said you had 2 kids.
Yeah.
How old are they?
So my daughter, Nayana, so freaking okay. I'm obsessed with my kids. Okay, so I'm just like, bear with me if I start to gush a little bit. But like my daughter, she's 8 years old. She wants to sell houses when she's older.
there you go.
She's a firecracker. She's a boss. And sometimes I have to be like, whoa, because she be bullying her little brother sometimes. But anyways, she likes to sing. Like, she is not scared to get up on stage and sing in front of everyone. I don't know if you guys don't follow me on Instagram, I don't think. You guys better follow me on Instagram.
I followed you yesterday.
You did you?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to go back and add you back.
Wait, you deleted me?
What?
You said add you back.
No, like
I'm just
add
kidding,
you
you
back.
shit.
You freaking Alan. But anyways, like last year for a talent show, I always push them towards, to do stuff like that. But she went on stage and she sang the Moana song. Like, oh my tangi. Oh my gosh. It was the sweetest thing. And the whole room was quiet and they listened to her. And she
cool.
like hit every single part like perfectly. And she just had everyone, like she captured everyone's attention. Ugh, I just love her. So that's Nyana. And then her little brother, so my son's name is Roman. He's the sweetest little gentleman ever.
Yeah.
But he clashes heads with Nyana. He's 6 years old, by the way. They clash heads a lot because he wants so badly to be a caretaker. Like he loves taking care of people. He's so considerate. He just loves and looks up to Nyana. But Nyana is so annoyed of him like all the time. So anyways, it's really sweet. And he's just like always every 2 seconds he's like, Mom. I'm like, yeah. And he's like, I love you. I'm like, I love you too. He just melts my heart every single day. So they're awesome.
I have a boy and 2 girls, and there's just brother-sister feud that I think just comes naturally, like dogs and cats.
Yeah.
And they're always at each other's throats, man. It's just the way it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and then you just learn to kind of just step back and let it happen. Because siblings they just be like that sometimes.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'm in for a treat then, right?
Oh.
You got a boy in the way.
I got a boy on the way.
Yeah.
We're about three and a half months, I think.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, we have 1 girl and then now 1 boy.
Ooh. Hey, do the applause.
Yeah, we're getting old.
I know, right?
We're getting old.
Hey, but it's awesome when it comes down to it.
Yeah.
Like you said, your kids are everything. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Like I love it. I love my favorite part right now, where I'm at right now in my life, is being a dad. Like it's awesome. Like, there's no better feeling than that. Everything else just is secondary when it comes down to it, but that is like the number one thing.
Mm-hmm. They teach you so much though. Like the biggest growth that happens in your life is when you become a parent. I would say.
Patience, huh?
Yeah. Oh, so much patience. And then you learn so much about yourself too.
Yeah.
Because you have to, like I said, like take inventory of yourself, because you start to see like the little things because they're little sponges. You start to see the things that they pick up. And so you're like, that I don't like that they're doing that.
Yeah.
But I do that.
Yeah.
They're doing what I do. And so you're like, okay, if I want to correct that, then I need to correct it, within myself first. It's so much.
Yeah.
It's so much, dude.
Yeah. Oh my God. I just remembered. And you talked about this at the beginning, but that school shooting.
Oh.
And we talked about it a little bit at the beginning, but just you're talking about being a parent, and we talk about Utah being such a great place. I don't think we've had any here in Utah, have we?
Let's not jinx it though.
No, I know. Yeah, I know, right? I know. But I just want to talk about it for a second, because there's a guy. Do you guys follow Sean Whalen?
Yeah.
You see that post that he put up?
Mm-mm.
He put a post up this morning or yesterday, and it said there's 140,000 schools in the country.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, damn, that's a lot of schools. 140,000.
Yeah.
And he said it would only cost like $9.8 billion, something like that. My math's probably wrong. A year, $9.8 billion a year, to put a police officer paid $75,000 a year in the school, and it's only $9.8 billion. And it's like, well, I'm
in
not
every
to be
single
wrong.
school.
Yeah, per year. And it's like, that's not a lot of money.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he put in there that we just sent like $40 billion to Ukraine. Why can't we invest that money by putting a cop in every school
Right.
in Utah to protect our kids? And we talk about, like, right now, it's the last day of school for my kid. And I didn't want to send my son to school. You know what I mean? And I know we sit and talk about how awesome it is to have kids, but I couldn't imagine being in that position that those parents are in right now.
I know.
You know, it's fucking terrible.
That's tragic. That's like heartbreaking. I can't even imagine if, like, you know, imagine sending your child to school just like every day, like this person that you protect every single day. You do everything that you can every day to make sure they're eating the right thing, watching the right thing, and, you know, like wearing the right thing, like doing the right things, like, and then you send them to school so that they can learn and grow. And then all of a sudden you get a call back and they're gone.
Yeah, you don't get to see them again. Yeah, that's some fucking bullshit. This fucking problem needs to be addressed. This needs to get addressed ASAP. And you know, when I was younger and I would hear about stuff like this, it didn't impact me as much, not being a parent. But now that I am, and my kids are in school and they're in public school, it just it's fucking frustrating. And they make it a gun issue. And part of it probably is, and part of it probably is a mental health issue. But the other problem is, why are we not protecting the students in the school? Like, why can't they be part of it? I mean, you, like you said, you take all this time, you invest your whole life in your child, and then you send them off trusting that they're going to be taken care of, and then something like that happens. It just makes no fucking sense. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I don't know. I saw that post from Sean Whalen, and I was like, dude, that makes so much sense. How logical is that? Right. Like, if they don't do something, I mean, I think they should probably close down the fucking schools. You know what I mean? I mean, because, I mean, holy shit. Like, that's how many? 15 kids? 19 kids?
From what I remember,
crazy
14.
Is you see how many riots and, like, you know, like things like that, like, that are happening over other things. But, like, I haven't heard anything about something like this.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
There's not enough outrage. Yeah.
You know what? Kids and women are not protected in this country. I'm just going to be real with you. You know, especially in Utah, I think we have the most lenient laws against child abuse in the country. We do. And we talk about how great a state Utah is to live. I mean, that's, I didn't even know that. Yeah, that is probably the worst thing about this state. And you don't hear anything, like there's no rioting in the streets over that, of injustice or inequality here in Utah. And that's why I always say that Utah is such a bubble. And I'm not trying to talk bad about Utah because I love it here, but I'm just saying, if something like that were to happen here in Utah, I question whether or not there would be that type of uproar. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. It's
hopefully
crazy.
we never find out, right? Hopefully we never find out.
Yeah.
Right. Well, hopefully we never find out, because some kind of, something is put in place to prevent that from happening. Yeah. Like having a police officer in every school. Yep. Why don't we start a freaking riot? Let's go start a riot like that.
Dude, yeah.
Open a Facebook page.
It's fucking frustrating. As a parent, it's absolutely frustrating. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, my heart goes out to everybody over there dealing with that.
Well, that's heavy stuff. But something needs to happen, like, sooner rather than later. I mean, there are riots that are happening over people's feelings getting hurt over something. But these are our children's lives that are being lost because something so simple is not put in place as having one police officer in every single school. That's not even costing as much as sending out aid to other countries. Who knows what's going on over there? Like, you know what I mean?
So I have 3 kids. 2 of them are in school. One of them is 4 years old. She just turned 4 this weekend. Happy birthday, Azaleen. That was fun. We did a little birthday at the house. We always do really small, but we anyways, getting back to the whole school thing, because I do want to hit on this topic because I think it's important for people to hear this. As a parent, and my son's been to 3 different schools. We lived downtown for a while, so he was going to Washington Elementary. Then we moved to Sandy, and he went to a school in Draper for a while, and then we put him in a school right here in Sandy. And I noticed security is it makes me nervous, because I look like a weirdo when I go to his school sometimes. I'm like just rolled out of bed sometimes, and I'll just walk right in the school. Like literally walk right in, and no one says anything. And they'll have a little sign that says all visitors must check in the office, but they don't do anything to stop you from not checking in. And sometimes I'll go right to my son's class or my daughter's class, and go see them, or if I'm dropping something off, or if he forgot his lunch. And in my head, I'm like, these guys don't know who I am. And I just wander right in this school. Look how easy it is.
This is in Draper?
This is at all 3 schools.
Pretty much everywhere, yeah.
Oh, snap.
It's like, what
you got to go to Bountiful then.
Oh, yeah. Is it different over there?
It's different over there. Well, at least the school that my kids are at. They go to, I probably shouldn't say. I don't know who's out there watching these videos.
Is it a private school?
No. Oh. But they have like, as you walk in, there's like one door that you can walk in. Every other door is locked at all times. And they're like pretty thick pieces of glass that, that's on the doors. And so the front door that you go through, like first there's like cameras everywhere. And so you go through that door. One of those doors is open that you can go through. And then you're in this little room. And so you have to press a button because there's another set of doors that are like absolutely locked. So you press the button. There's like a camera in there. Whoever's in the office will kind of speak through that camera and say, hi, how can I help you today? What are you here for? And you kind of let them know. And then if it sounds... like if they recognize you, like you're one of the parents, like, and they take their time to get to know every single parent. If they recognize you and it's a good enough reason to come inside, they unlock one of the doors and one of you, you can come in. And if it's something that you're just dropping something off, okay, well just leave it in that basket right there and then we'll come get it. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, that security is pretty good. Yeah. But there's still like, obviously there's still some, space there where something can happen, but we just hope that something like that doesn't happen.
Yeah. I don't want to spend too much time talking about the subject, but I do think it's important. I think you made a good point when you said we should get going riot. I don't know if a riot's going to solve the problem, but I think at least figuring out, and I think I'm going to do this actually because my kids are in school, and that me having that weird feeling was kind of sketchy.
Yeah.
But
at least it'll create some attention towards that instead of making it a gun issue. Because I think a lot of people will take this opportunity to make it a gun issue. Yeah, of course, they'll
politicize everything. But I'm just saying, getting to know your local legislation, and like figuring out, well, what kind of budget earmarks that they have set towards issues like this. Because I think like that, what I just brought up about schools not being secure, that's probably the first thing they should do is get every school secure where all the doors are locked all the time, where there's a system almost like Ring, you know what I mean? And that would prevent a certain amount of, that would prevent a lot of that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because they don't have that. And I know Canyon School District doesn't have that. And Canyon School District is supposed to be regarded as like one of the best districts, but they don't have any security stuff like that. My son's in Canyon School District and you could walk right into the schools, no problem. So I do think that should be addressed. But again, you as an individual, as a citizen, as a member of society here in Utah,
have a voice.
You can go to the Capitol, you can talk to your local congressman and figure out, you know what I mean? Like, what is the budget set forth towards these types of things? And is there one? You know what I mean? And then you can, not riot, but you could probably start a petition. Right.
And it's easier than it sounds too. Like there are phone numbers, like if you look up the city council or whatever, there are phone numbers right there. You could call that number and talk to someone. Yeah. Like it's a lot easier than it sounds. And I wish I had the phone number right now. I'd just like state it and then maybe you could like write it. Oh, it's right.
Yeah. No, I'm probably going to do that actually and just kind of figure out it's a big deal. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, going back to you in your career, because we talk about how awesome Utah is as a state and how cool it is to live here. And I mean, Alan comes from a place that was not so awesome.
Yeah, not at all.
You know where Alan's from? Bosnia? Yeah. Right? Yeah. You know Alan's story a little bit?
Not really.
Yeah. Yeah. Alan, you were there for what, 2 years? 3 years?
What?
5?
Bosnia?
Yeah.
6.
6 years?
So we were there. Yeah, I was there. I mean, I moved here when I was 6. December 3rd, 1996 is when we moved here. But yeah, we were there. I mean, I was born in 1990, and then the war began over there. The Yugoslavian war began around 1992 and 93. Then around that time, our whole town was literally just being tanks and everything. It's pretty much like what's going on over there, like in Ukraine. Very, very similar, And then, we were in a refugee camp for 16 months, actually. So we were there and literally sleeping on the floor and everything. And, then eventually, fortunately, the U.S. and UN got involved. And then we just said, hey, get us the hell out of here. Anywhere but here, And we ended up coming here. But there was a lot that happened, during that period over there. Like, for example, my grandpa came over to bring us food. Next thing you know, he's shot dead right in front of the building. That was what life was, during that time. And that's why it's so unfortunate what's going on with, Ukraine and Russia right now. I'm like, shit, dude. Like, it's unfortunate how that's all playing out.
Yeah, so many innocent people.
Yeah, and but no, there's quite a bit. Yeah, but overall, that's why I've always appreciated everything I have here,
Right.
not only Utah but just in the U.S. I feel like a lot of people don't really realize, what it's like.
The privilege.
Yeah, like I feel like everybody should go to a different country, especially like a third world country where they don't have a whole lot, where it'll make them appreciate a lot more what they have here.
Right.
I remember when I went back, I think it was like 15 or 16, or 17, around there. And at that time, I was just trying to figure out my life in general. And I remember going there for a couple of weeks and then coming back, and I'm like, whoa, like we've got it pretty good here. We've got it pretty good. And I think it's extremely important for people to really recognize that and realize that the opportunities there just comes down to you, taking it, And the way I look at it is sky's the limit. Like I don't have any fear. I don't have any limitations in my mind or anything. I just go because I know I'm gonna succeed at whatever I do. But you got to have that mindset that you're gonna make it.
Yeah.
There's no other question. It's like, hey, failure is not an option. My parents have sacrificed way too damn much to literally be here carrying me while there's bullets flying over them, for them just to have us have a better life, working 2-3 jobs nonstop so that we can have a home, have a roof over our heads and food. And I'm like, they did not sacrifice so much for now me or us to be just have all that go to waste. It's like, okay, let's pick up that torch where they left off, and now it's up to us to make a huge difference. And I hope and I look forward to my daughter and my son now taking over that throne and just being the best version of themselves that they can become.
You talk about Tonga. Is Tonga third world? Was it considered third world?
Probably.
Is it U.S. territory?
No.
No?
Mm-mm. It's still a kingdom.
Is it?
Yeah. It's I believe it's the only island that is still its own monarchy.
Yeah?
But yeah, it's not U.S. territory. And part of it is because we're considered the friendly islands. We were about to be U.S. territory. Captain Cook, or whatever his name is, came to Tonga, and he was, thinking about taking over the island. But, the king of Tonga at the time, and whoever else was, I don't know the history in so much detail, but generally I know that he formed such a friendly relationship with Captain Cook that he was just like, I'm just going to protect this island and you guys just be you. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And because he came to the island and he was just he was taken, such good care of, and that's kind of the thing with Tongan culture is when you come to Tonga or when you go to a Tongan house, it's all hospitality, from there. Yeah. So that's what he experienced when he came to Tonga. So we're still a monarchy. Yeah. Wow. So I don't know if it'd be considered a third world country. There's not a whole lot of development there. The island that I lived on was Ha'apai, in a little village called Bangai. So Bangai, Ha'apai is where I lived, and it's this little island. And on one side of the island, you've got the houses against the beach. And then you've got a little palace there. And then you've got your one store, one place called the Kalapu. It's basically a club. Everyone goes to dance and everything. And everyone, and then on the other side of basically the rest of the island is everyone, every clan has their own piece of land. And so they grow crops there. And so you just work the land. They call it the bush. So you go into the bush, you work the land, you get your crops, and then everyone just kind of comes together and just creates a whole feast. It's literally paradise. And everyone comes together, they eat together, they cook together, eat together, and then they dance together. And then you're just living the island life. You go, the kids are just playing on the beach.
Sounds so nice.
It's so nice.
It sounds so nice. I have a friend, he's his ex-wife now, was, I believe her father was, her mother was Tongan. Mm-hmm. And he went over there to visit their family. And he's like, damn, man, I would love to own some property out here. Is that possible for non-citizens to own property in Tonga?
There's 170 something islands in Tonga, and only 30 something of them are inhabited. And I probably shouldn't be saying this, but a lot of those islands are for sale. Oh, and wow. The last time I checked was 2 years ago, and one of the islands was for sale for $2 million.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's one of like my goals is I want to own an island.
That would be cool.
Yeah,
right?
That'd be nice.
Yeah, and there's like talk that a lot of Australians who like don't have homes and stuff, like they just go hang out at those islands. They take their boat and then they just like go over to one of the islands and they just like live there.
How cool would that be, huh? Who's that guy?
Yeah.
Steve Conlon. You see him?
Yeah.
He's always island
Oh,
hopping
yeah.
with his boat. He lives on that.
The guy that owns 5 Wives.
Yeah,
vodka.
we had him
Yeah.
on the podcast, and he lives that life where he's posting every day at some random place, and people will comment like, "Hey, where you at?" And he'll say some name, and I'm like, "Where the fuck is that?"
Yeah.
And it's some random island.
He just living life right now. Yeah, because
Oh,
I used to live right by him. A couple of years, about a year and a half ago. That's how we linked up. And I know he was always saying like, "Yep, here's my goal. I want to move to San Diego. I want to just get a boat, and I want to just travel." And that's what he's doing.
Yeah. Well, he told us that it was kind of like a warning to us.
Yeah.
Where he's like, "You guys don't want to do this forever," and he's like, "I have business partners when I joined that were my age." And he was probably in his 60s,
Yeah.
50s, 60s.
Probably 50s, yeah.
And he's been growing the company since early 2000. And so you think 20-something years later, they're probably in their 80s. And he was like, "They're still working?" And he's like, "No, I'm getting the hell out." And so I believe he retired. And I think he sold his shares, didn't he? Yeah, he had a buyout.
I'm not sure how.
Yeah, and I think he's still, well, either way, but good for him. And I think that'd be the most amazing life, to be able to just travel island to island, you know what I mean? And live that Maui and Moana life.
Right? Sheesh. Yeah, that's
How badass would that be?
Yeah.
So are you planning on going back anytime soon?
Oh, I would love to.
Yeah?
I would love to do that. I would be nervous too, kind of like intimidated too, because the Tongan language was my first language. So when I left, that was the most that I knew was Tongan. But if I went back over there, I wouldn't be able to communicate very well with my family
Really?
out there.
Wow.
Yeah, unless I took like one of my older siblings with me, then yeah. But I'm not ready yet. I'm
Yeah.
not ready yet.
Yeah.
I want to though. Yeah, it definitely calls my name.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Well, I thank you so much for being here. I'm so happy we got to know a little bit about you. And I really look forward to working with you, obviously, in the future. And I mean, so what are your plans? Where do you go? What are your plans? What are your goals? Let's hear it so we can look back on this.
What are my goals?
What do you want to be at in 6 months?
In 6 months?
In 6 months, what do you want to be at?
Okay, 6 months. We're going to be at the end of the year. So by then, I want to have made 2 to 3 deals a month, at least. And so that should be like around 200,000 for the year. Yeah. I know that's a small number for a lot of you and you guys, but I'm still kind of, starting off and getting the ball rolling and everything. So that snowball is getting bigger. Not quite there yet, but 200,000 is my goal for the end of the year.
But 200 is a good start.
Yeah.
It's not a bad start at all.
Yeah.
It's a good target. That's why I love the fact that you have a target, and then you can break it down and go, okay, cool. I want to make 200,000. Here's how many months I have left. I have 6-7 months left, and then divide that. How many deals do I need to do every month in order to achieve that goal? If my average commission is X amount,
Right.
and then just break it down and go, okay, cool. I need to do at least 3 this month, or 2, or 1, whatever it is. Break it down.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, December will roll around, and you're like, oh shit, I hit my goal.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just how it works.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you're surrounded by great people. Jen is such an amazing mentor.
Yeah.
No,
She's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, get to know her process, her strategy, because she prospects, right? But she also adds the other marketing pieces into it. She's out
Right.
knocking doors. You went with her knocking doors. So she's a hustler. She's hungry,
Right.
and she's crushing it. She's doing a lot more than 200,000 a year.
Oh, easy.
And I don't want to share her business out there too much, but just if we're talking goals, I mean, she was speaking these numbers before, like how we are now, and now she's
remember
hitting
that,
them.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
now
Yeah,
she's
dude.
hitting them. So it's pretty cool to see. So I'm really happy. That's a good goal, damn good goal to start. You're definitely in the right place to do that here at the brokerage and with us. And like I said, I really look forward to producing content with you because you're really good on camera, and I like that. It's very rare. It's very rare. We had Quincy's amazing on camera too. That girl is a freaking boss on camera,
Yeah.
but she is living the good life, traveling on vacation, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Shout out to Billy and Quincy. But so I really like that you're able to do that because we're gonna be doing a ton of media here in the future.
I'm excited.
So awesome. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Michele. Thank you, Alan.
Yeah, thank you
And
guys.
let's do another one next week.
Oh yeah.
Let's do it.
I think I'm playing chess, I see a king, I'm at his neck. I'm 3 steps ahead at every move, now that's a check. Yes, they wanna know my secret, it's because I never slept. my nightmares of me.